And welcome back here to the Country Critics once again. It is Throwback Thursday. As always, I'm Garth, and that's Chris.
I'm Chris.
Yes, he is. And again, it is Throwback Thursday today. We've got a special one for you today. 2 songs for you today. That might end up being a norm for Throwback Thursday. I don't know. But we had an idea today, or I had an idea, and Chris is just going along with it. But
yeah, you're the idea man. I'm your comic relief.
Exactly. See, we complement each other very well here. So, first song up for Throwback Thursday today, and we're doing these because they're fairly similar songs. The second one is a newer song that kind of pays homage to this song, similar to what we did for our new music song on Tuesday with Sam Hunt's Hard to Forget. But I think this one does it better. So, without further ado, let's hit the oldie, Tracy Byrd, Watermelon Crawl. Should I do a demonstration of the watermelon crawl?
At least in your own mind, you did, yeah. Up close and personal with Garth.
All right, that was Tracy Byrd, Watermelon Crawl. Chris, I know you've heard this before, so quick thoughts here before we jump into our other song for the day.
Oh my gosh, that brings back some memories. That was, mid-90s that came out, something like that, probably around 94, 95. It was one of those, I like this song. I think it's kind of aged well over time. It's, because it's vague enough that it's just about a festival and everybody hosting this guy who was just randomly showing up. Looking at it, going through the lyrics, and I find out it was written by Steve Ripley and Walt Richmond, who were the main force behind the Tulsa, Oklahoma-based group The Tractors, which their biggest hit was Baby Likes to Rock It from 94-ish. I can see that. I can see that being a Tractor song. It's got that boogie-woogie feel to it. Probably started off with Walt on a piano and Steve on guitar working that out as they wrote that. It was one of those songs that, it was great when it came out, but it received so much airplay, it got old fast for me. And I'm really surprised it's not on country classic radio stations, which it might be. But
it is.
Okay. I mean, it is, what?
You can turn on Prime Country on Sirius XM and hear this at least a couple times a day.
Yeah, a couple times a day still is. It's a little much, Give it a rest, folks. If it went 6 months without being heard, it'd be okay. It's not one that I think it's great in season. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the Watermelon Crawl in December. I like it when it's July. It makes me think of festivals. It makes me think of going to the state fairs and food and fun, and that's what it really makes me think of. And that's what I like about this. Is it's just a random guy showing around and this girl doing little dance moves as a little bit of camping kitsch there to welcome him to the Watermelon Festival. All right, you might as well stop by. I can't say I wouldn't if it were me.
Right. I have a quick story about this song before we move into our other song for the day. So, where I went to college, the county that it was in, Chris, you know this, they grow watermelons down there.
Oh, yeah.
So, one of the girls in my class, she was actually from there. She was kind of a townie. She was, in high school, she was the watermelon queen. So, we always gave her shit about this being her song. Like, this song was about her. So
how could one not? If
yeah.
the title's there,
yeah.
You might as well.
Exactly. So, yeah.
You're going to get that,
Mm-hmm.
You're just asking for it at that point.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's move into our other song for the day. This is a much newer song. This one actually just got released a couple weeks ago from the Hot Country Nights. Paying a little homage to Tracy Byrd here, this song very similar to the Watermelon Crawl. Definitely drew its inspiration from the Watermelon Crawl You even might hear a Tracy Byrd name drop or two in there as well. So, without further ado, Chris, let's hit the Hot Country Nights Moose Knuckle Shuffle. All right, that was the Hot Country Nights and Moose Knuckle Shuffle, and
Well, that was something.
it was something. Chris, what'd you think?
You know, it. I gotta give them. I gotta give them props, man. That they channeled it all.
Oh yeah.
They brought it all the way around full circle. The camp and the glam, the campiness of it, the humor behind it, solid musicianship, and great delivery, everything that was 80s pop to 90s pop to 90s country to line dancing. The video really brought that one home. That was what knocked that out of the park.
Yeah, I personally, I think the Hot Country Nights are the best thing that's happened to country music in a long time. They've got the right sound, they've got the humor, they don't take themselves too seriously. Actually, Dierks Bentley is the lead vocalist for them, if you didn't realize that.
No, I was wondering who was in there, because at one point I'm like, is this Adam Sandler and Lawrence Fishburne? Who
yeah.
are these guys?
I don't know who anybody else in the band is, but I do know Dierks Bentley is the one doing the vocals. But yeah, they are the best thing that's happened to country music in a long time, and I'm so looking forward to that whole album coming out on May 1st.
Is it full of camp and kitsch? Yes. Is it well crafted? Oh, absolutely, no question about it. I mean, they hit them a, you know, if they didn't hit a home run with this, then they're not being marketed right. It's a lot of fun. It's good time. Like you said, don't take yourself too seriously. You know, forget about life for 3 minutes, and just enjoy what's being played.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't go out and try to identify with it. Don't try to analyze it and get too serious in your own thoughts that says, well, I would have never played that on the radio when I was, No, you don't even go there. It's just it's a group of guys that decided, hey, we've got the time, we've got the talent, we've got the money. Let's just go have some fun and see what happens.
Right. Honestly, I think...
I can only imagine what the tour T-shirts are going to look like.
Oh, you better believe I'm buying all of those.
I can see this going 9 kinds of right, and in the same vein, 10 kinds of wrong.
Oh yeah.
It's great. I gotta say, I give it right there. Outside of, if the whole album is, if it's an entire album of just being petulant children with 13-year-old 8th grade.
I mean, you've heard Asphalt. You know what we're working with here.
We're up against that. That would be the only detraction. Is I don't know that I'd want to hear them do something serious.
Well, I played you Pick Her Up, didn't I? The first song that they put out. That one's a little more serious.
It is, yeah.
It's still got the humor in it, but it is a little more serious.
It does. I'm not going to argue that point, but I mean, just to have, if they put the effort into a serious album, not necessarily ballads and love songs, but if they were serious in producing an album like they were a campy album full of humorous songs, man, just think, you've got double platinum all over that.
Well,
with this, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 9.5 right out of the box.
Wow. Okay.
It's got the sound like we've talked about before. It channels the old country. Watermelon Crawler, 25, 26 years old this year. if you can channel that, that's a generation ago.
Yeah.
You've put a lot of heart and soul into it. It's not just saying we're going to deliver lyrics over this track. Okay, yeah, it really sounds like Watermelon Crawl. They dropped Tracy Byrd's name in it. When was the last time you heard Tracy Byrd's name outside of that?
Mm-hmm.
I think I actually saw Tracy Byrd live one time. No, Neil McCoy. It was Neil McCoy I saw live. So we're going back a ways. We're talking 96, 97, yeah. I don't know whatever became of him or Tracy Byrd for that matter.
Neil McCoy is still actually putting out music here and there.
Okay.
I don't think Tracy Byrd is, but I know I've seen some songs from Neil McCoy recently.
Well, good for him, because that might be worth listening to. It's stuff that flies below the radar, stuff devoted to the fans. That is it going to be award winning? No, but is it going to be him doing what he always did right? Probably, and like Les Claypool of Primus says, they can't all be zingers.
Right.
So you're going to have duds on every album. But this, if Moose Knuckle Shuffle, Pick Her Up, and Asphalt are any telltale signs of what the rest of the album's going to be, even if it's only an EP of 6 tracks, you've heard half of them, it's solid.
It's a full-length album. I'm trying to find it here in my library.
It's probably 12 tracks, at least 10.
It's 10. 10 tracks, and we've heard 3 of them now between Pick Her Up, Asphalt, and Moose Knuckle Shuffle. And I can only imagine what track number 9 is going to be. It's called You Make It Hard, featuring Terry Clark.
Oh, wow. Terry Clark. Wow, I have not heard that name in a while.
But I can only imagine, knowing what these guys have done with a song called You Make It Hard, I can only imagine what that's going to be.
I can see that being quite a few double entendres there.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be in the exact same vein as Asphalt.
And when does this album drop?
May 1st.
May 1st.
We will definitely be doing an album review on that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Like I said, I got to give that one a 9.5 right out of the box.
Nice. I think you mentioned how campy and non-serious it was, and you were wanting them to maybe do a more serious album next. I don't know that they necessarily need to do that. I wouldn't mind them doing that, but I don't know that they need to, because we already have Midland. Midland is channeling that older sound in a more serious tone, so they kind of balance each other out. Midland can be the more serious older sound, and Hot Country Nights can be the more jovial older sound.
Well, I like that, but what I was getting at was, if they're this good with doing campy songs, imagine how they'd be if they go to deliver a ballad, if they go to deliver
I mean, Asphalt kind of is a ballad. It is a lot slower. It's not very serious, but I mean, it's kind of got the ballad feel to it.
That's what I'm getting at, is a little bit more serious subject matter.
Yeah.
Imagine what they can do, because the capabilities there.
Oh, yeah.
If they put this much time, effort, heart, and soul into doing the production of a full album of humorous songs, not just one on a full album, we're talking this was the pot of gold.
Right. And I hope that they do a second album after this, because a lot of times you get these super groups together like this, and they only do one album, and then they go back to doing their solo stuff.
They do, and then they'll come and go, they'll ebb and flow, and you'll get collaborations. But this is also kind of where new ideas start, because you'll get 2 of those guys will break off and do something, and you may get a duo for an album. And I've always liked that it's not the same guys doing the same formula all the time. Come up with new ideas and be a duo. Mm-hmm. Come up with different harmonies. Turn the gain up on the guitars a little bit, and just absolutely push those vocals to the limit.
Yeah.
Almost straining the vocal cords to hit notes, harmonies, and just breathe from the diaphragm and push the notes and just belt it out there.
Yeah.
And just see where it takes you. See what you can do. Don't just ride these waves and kind of lilt along and let the music either carry the vocals or the vocals overpower the music. No, put it all together and see what happens.
Yeah. No, I agree. We do need to backtrack just a little bit, though, because you've already given Moose Knuckle Shuffle a rating. We did not give Watermelon Crawl a rating.
You know, I'm going to give Watermelon Crawl. I think it's aged well, like I mentioned a little bit ago. It takes you someplace. Having learned just a little bit ago that it was written by two of my favorites, Steve Ripley and Walt Richmond, I got to give it for its time, for the subject matter, the musicianship that was in the band back then. That's still a solid 8.5.
Okay. I will agree with that. I was going to go a tick higher than that. I'd give it a 9. Very, very solid song. I love Tracy Byrd. Tracy Byrd, I don't know that I've ever heard a song from Tracy Byrd that I didn't like. I'm sure there are some out there, and I've never really dug deep into albums, so I'm sure there's album cuts that I wouldn't like. But in terms of singles, I can't think of a song that I really didn't like. So, yeah, very, very solid song there. So I guess
think it's time for a remaster on Watermelon Crawl.
I would agree with that.
Remaster the audio, remaster the verses, remaster the tapes, and bring the bass out, or not bring the bass, but bring the rest of the instruments out a little bit. That was probably the biggest detractor, was it was so much of just driving bass.
Yeah.
It kind of overpowered things, but that was the 90s.
Yeah, 100%.
That was 90s country. It was always a driving bass, whereas in the 70s and 80s, the bass always kind of stayed, back in the background.
Mm-hmm.
It was just there to provide the rhythm, not the rhythm was the force.
Right.
And then that's probably the only detractor, is bring out the mid-levels, bring out the vocals a little bit. But a remastered Watermelon Crawl would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, average here, you gave it an 8.5, I gave it a 9, so I guess that averages to 8 3/4. So we're going to give the Country Critics rating for Watermelon Crawl by Tracy Byrd is 8 3/4 musical notes. Now, on to Moose Knuckle Shuffle. You gave it a 9.5, right?
Yep, right out of the box.
I'm right there with you. 9.5. Fantastic song. I love what the Hot Country Knights are doing. I don't know, with 3 songs they've released from this album now, I have yet to find one I don't like. I am loving what they are doing, and like I said, I am super excited for May 1st, for when this album drops. And I just noticed they have a song on here called Mullet Over, and I have to imagine that's going to be something about mullets. I
wouldn't know, Garth. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. And then there's Wrangler Danger. So,
oh boy.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Conway Twitty type fit jeans gone wrong.
Oh, I cannot wait. May 1st cannot get here quick enough. Alright, so our ratings for Throwback Thursday: 8 3/4 musical notes for Watermelon Crawl, 9.5 musical notes for Moose Knuckle Shuffle. Just that close to perfect right now for the Hot Country Knights. So I think this was a pretty solid Throwback Thursday. I think we got some better ratings on these out of you than what I expected us to.
You never know what to expect.
You really don't. Yeah, definitely.
I can rip them to shreds, but I can also praise where praise is deserved.
This is true. Alright, so that's going to do it for Throwback Thursday for today. Tracy Byrd, Watermelon Crawl, and Hot Country Knights Moose Knuckle Shuffle. If you haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss anything going forward. Hit the thumbs up button so the YouTube algorithm knows you like us, and share it with your friends so that they can have their minds opened to the world of the country critics, and specifically Chris and his rants on songs that he doesn't like. Speaking of which, album review coming up on Saturday. It'll be Kelsey Ballery. No, that was last Saturday's. It'll be a surprise what this Saturday's album review is, but I'm sure Chris will definitely have some interesting opinions on it. I already know what it is. I haven't told Chris what it is yet, and I have a feeling Chris is going to have some opinions on it. But of course, new music reaction coming up on Tuesday after that, and then of course Throwback Thursday again on next Thursday. So definitely make sure you're subscribed and all of that fun jazz. So at that, this has been Throwback Thursday for the Country Critics. As always, I'm Garth, and he's Chris.
I'm Chris.
And we'll see you on Saturday for album review.
All right, we'll see you next time.